As Donald Trump prepares for the Chinese threat, Washington's allies are raising the alarm about Trump's America. Canada, Denmark, Finland, Germany, and the United Kingdom, they've all issued travel advisories for the US. They're all warning their nationals from visiting the United States. The reason? Trump's crackdown on immigration and transgender rights. It has hit European travelers. Many of them were detained and deported by US immigration officials. Of course, it's not just Europeans that are bracing for impact. Trump plans to deport more than 500,000 migrants. These are people from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. 500,000. He wants to send them back. They were living in the US on humanitarian grounds. Trump has given them 1 month to pack their bags and leave. Here's our report.
The American Dream, a term coined by historian James Truslow Adams in 1931, was the driving factor for millions of people to flock to the United States in pursuit of a better life. For decades, people from around the world gave it their all to enter the United States, and the dash for the dream peaked in recent years, with illegal migration hitting record-breaking numbers. Until Donald Trump returned to the White House. Trump has cracked down on migration with a heavy hand. He has ordered the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, to detain and deport all illegal migrants. There are currently over 11 million illegal migrants in the country who are now staring at an uncertain future. But travel to the United States has become unsafe for valid visa holders as well. Denmark, Finland, the United Kingdom, Germany, and Canada are warning their nationals about visiting Trump's America. They are urging travelers to strictly adhere to all rules for entry, and there's a reason for that. The warnings come after several European travelers were detained and deported by US immigration officials. But there's more. The advisories also warn about the State Department's crackdown on trans rights. Both Denmark and Finland have flagged Trump's executive order recognizing only 2 genders and the removal of the non-binary X marker on passports. Meanwhile, Canada, Britain, and Germany reported that their nationals were arrested and deported by ICE agents who cited visa violations. But reports suggest that some detentions were based on phone messages being critical of Trump and social media support for pro-Hamas protests in the United States. A travel advisory for the United States is not uncommon. However, it was majorly issued for gun violence. But this time the threat is deportations, and it's not just Europeans who are facing the heat. Because Trump plans to carry out the largest single operation deportation yet. The White House is ending the legal status of more than 500,000 migrants from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. The US Department of Homeland Security has ended the Humanitarian Parole program for select countries. This program allows people to temporarily enter the United States for humanitarian reasons, and it allows the asylum seekers to legally reside and work in the country for 2 years. It's the same program that allowed entry to current Secretary of State Marco Rubio's parents into the United States in 1956. But times have changed, and the parole seekers from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela will now have to leave the United States. The Trump administration has given them a 30-day ultimatum. Immigration officials cite that only those migrants who have overstayed their parole are being sent back, and that the program is not being scrapped for now. Cuba, Haiti, and Venezuela have begun accepting the deportations.
And today we are receiving 199 compatriots in the same conditions as the first flight. Venezuela and the world know that we are not accomplices of any type of crime. And what we are not going to do is condemn Venezuelans just because that is the narrative they want to impose. If someone comes at the request of a country's police agencies, the prosecutor's office, or the organs of justice, they will be processed in that way. But if it's anyone who has absolutely nothing to do with crime, that person will go home once and for all without any inconvenience.
For now, the deportations of humanitarian parolees is being challenged in court. A group of Americans and immigrants have sued the White House. However, the Trump administration is no longer accepting applications for asylum. With deportations now in full swing, Donald Trump is working toward his campaign promises of sending back illegal migrants. While South America prepares to take back thousands of deportees, Europeans are rethinking their travel to the United States, fearing being clubbed with the deportees despite having valid visas. It looks like very few are welcome in Trump's America.
Greeting you with aloha and namaste.
No, I love India.
Presence, occupation of a territory by another country pertains to India, what we saw in Kashmir.
How do you see Trump's America?
Yes, the current administration behaves differently from the previous administration.
Are you saying that there are foreign powers who are trying to bring down the current government in Syria?
Exactly.
Bluntly, Iran, maybe Russia too.
Prime Minister Modi committed to South-South, cooperation.
Not over 50%.
Is Ukraine prepared to pay the price for that peace?
No compromises at the cost of territorial integrity and sovereignty.